Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and on today's episode of Voices, um, I'll be covering Janyse Jaud, um, a voice actress with Ocean Studios. Probably most noted for her roles as Kana and Kagura in the Inuyasha series. So here we go. Let's get started here. Yanis Aldis Yod, born November 26, 1969, is a Canadian voice actress, singer, songwriter, musician, dancer, and author. Her major voiceover roles include Hulk vs. My Little Pony, Inuyasha, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Batman Black and White, Baby Looney Tunes, War Planets, Spider-Man, and Strawberry Shortcake. She is also the narrator for the Emmy Award winning television series Adoption Stories. She has worked with companies such as Warner Brothers, Alliance, Atlantis, Hasbro, Marvel, Paramount, the Cartoon Network, and Universal Pictures, both on camera and voice roles. As a singer songwriter, Yanis has received many awards such as winner of Best Song, Day Is Mine, in the Contemporary Christian category at the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, winner of Best Jazz CD, The Magic of Christmas, at the Toronto Exclusive Magazine Awards, three nominations at the Hollywood Music and Awards for Best Jazz Song, That's What I Love About You, Best Dance Song, Best Friend Forever, and Best Contemporary Christian Song, Dreamers, as well as two nominations at the Toronto Exclusive Magazine Awards for Best Song, Dreamers, and Artist of the Year, as well as a nomination for Best Children's Song, Stomp, at the Independent Music Awards USA, and a nomination for Best Song, Blessed is the Holy Night, at the Hollywood Music Awards. This is amazing to me, very talented woman, obviously. I did not know that she was a contemporary, that she delved into the contemporary Christian music scene. Um, so that's another very interesting tidbit there. Um, okay, she was chosen as a finalist, one of the top four rated songwriters, by the Song of the Year International Songwriting Contest. Yanis also has had many of her original songs chosen for movie soundtracks. Wow, pretty talented woman sounds like, doesn't it? Um, let's look at her. Let's look at her background here. So Yanis grew up in Kelowna, British Columbia, and has Icelandic and French ancestry. Hence her name. I know a lot of people, including I at first, was thinking that the J was actually pronounced like J, like Johnny Jaud, but from what I when I saw that it's of Icelandic, it's like the kind of the Northern European dialect. J's are usually pronounced with a Y sound, so it's Yanisiot, I believe. Um, at the age of 5, she began training with the Canadian School of Ballet for 11 years. She also studied piano for 6 years with the Royal Conservatory Music. Now, from what I understand, the Royal Conservatory of Music, that's a pretty big deal up in Canada. That's like one of the most major schools of music that's out there. So let's look at some of some aspects of her career here before we get into her voice roles. So Janyse appeared on camera in 4 television series: X Files, The Outer Limits, Double Exposure, and Andromeda. Again, many of these independent shows that you see sometimes on weekends, um, many of them have come out of Canada and were, I mean, look, Smallville was, I think, also taped in Canada, so they are really good at doing that. So she's been doing this, basically since she was a kid. Something to think about. In 2004, Janyse was a narrator for the Emmy Award-winning series Adoption Stories on Discovery Health and traveled to New York for the event. Um, but it was her voiceover work on the animated series Ed, Ed, and Eddie that had the greatest impact. She was, of course, one of the Kanker sisters and Sarah in Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I'll get into that a bit more later. Janyse met children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who faced life-threatening diseases. After this experience, she created The Magic of Think and began writing um, books, music, nursery rhymes, and videos to help children develop strength and courage. Wow. Look at that. That's incredible. That's really incredible. Look at the work this woman's done outside of her professional career. This is something to really marvel at. Let me read that part again. Jaud met children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who faced life-threatening diseases. After the experience, she created the magic of think and began writing books, music, nursery rhymes, and videos to help children develop strength and courage. Not a whole lot of other voice actors I know of have done stuff like that, or that you hear about. So moving on then. In 2008, Jaud released her first album in the Christmas music genre. Um, she wrote songs with tongue-in-cheek humor. Many of these jazz songs have been chosen to be in movies such as Blonde and Blonder, American Mary, Debbie McCumber's Dashing Through the Snow, and Making Mr. Right. From 2010 to 2012, Jaud released several singles. So now let's go through some of her voice work here. Let me just go ahead. Okay, so Janyse's voice work dates all the way back to very least 1992. Um, in 19, of course, her first role, one of her first roles that I can see here was as Jasmine and Young Maid in Conan the Adventurer. That was I remember watching that cartoon back then. That was a pretty good cartoon. It's very interesting. Um, you know, Jasmine was a pretty cool character in that show, and Janyse did her very well. So, if you guys have never seen Conan the Adventure, the animated series, you guys should check that out. Then in, of course, 1993, she was cast in The Boxmaster as Lady Frenzy, and in Exo Squad as Sergeant Rita Torres. And Exo Squad was another popular cartoon back in the 90s there. Some of you may remember. Some of you may have even heard her voice there. As we move on, probably one of our first anime roles came in 1994 in Rama One Half, in which she was cast as Hinako Nemo Miya and Kin Ono. Um, in 1994. And then also in 1994, she was cast in Reboot as Maxine and the Merchant Brothers. Um, then, as we come into 1995, she was cast as Dana in Space Strikers. And then in the Sky Surfer Strike Force, she's cast as Kim Sakai, Sliced Ice, and Serena in Sky Surfer Strike Force. Some of these cartoons I'm sure you guys might remember from back then. It would probably just be nice to remember them and stuff like that. Then in 1996 came her next anime role as Akemi Rapongi in Maison and Koku. Now, for anybody who's never seen Maison and Koku, I highly recommend it, especially if you like romantic slice of type style anime. Um, Akemi, as well as another character, Janyse does, tend to be more very seductive, sultry type characters. Um, Pretty good stuff, you know. Um, Maison Koku is about a Ronin. A Ronin in Japan is basically somebody who's trying to get into college. Um, he's starting to get into college, but he has these three roommates of his in this boarding house that all basically are like, they keep telling him, yeah, you're gonna fail anyway, so just give up already. But then when the new manager comes in, who happens to be a female manager, the two of them eventually, two of them begin kind of develop somewhat of a relationship and become romantically involved and eventually get married and all that. It's a good story, one that I would highly recommend. Um, let's see. So you guys might want to check that out. Um, Also in 1996, she was cast as Lisa in The Adventures of Corduroy. And also another anime she was involved in was Sanctuary, in which she was cast as Hojo's lover and Yuka Sakura in Sanctuary. She was cast as George and Marcia in Cleo, the Misfit Unicorn in 1997, starting in 1997, and then also in 1997 she was cast as Sophie and Sadie in Salty's Lighthouse. Those of you who might have grew up watching Salty's Lighthouse might remember hearing her voice. Then in 1998 she was cast as Royal Juella in Shadow Raiders, as well as being cast as Felicia in Night Warriors Darkstalker's Revenge. And then starting in 1999, this is one of her first, probably famous roles as Sarah and Lee Kanker in Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Many of you who grew up watching Cartoon Network in the late 90s, early 2000s probably remember this show and probably remember hearing her in it. Also in 1999, she was cast as Mochi as well as Pixie, Lilim, and Lily in Monster Rancher, um, which I believe was on the Fox Kids block at times. I'm currently watching it. It's a pretty good anime, pretty about a kid who basically gets taken to another world and becomes the hero of the world through his video game system, his com system. Also in 1999, and she was cast as Eunice in Dragon Tales. Um, she was cast as Laurie Anderson, Elaine, and Grisella in Cyber 6 in 1999. Cyber 6 basically about I think it's a cybernetic agent. Very interesting. I think Cyber 6 is also, um, I think it was at least in syndication. Then as we get into 2000, she was cast in Cardcaptor Sakura as Sakura's mother. In the English version, she was named Natasha Avalon. Um, in Japanese, her name was Nadeshiko Kinomoto. Also in 2000, she was cast as Asadi in Action Man 2000. Then as we get into 2001, I know she was cast as Taryn and Riley's friend Taryn was her main role in X-Men Evolution, in which she was like basically Jean Grey's best friend before it was revealed that Jean was a mutant. Um, she was also in 2001 cast in Saber Marionette J in the Ocean dub of that series as Bloodberry. She was cast as Cassie in Ultimate Book of Spells, and also she's cast as Tama Zusa in Hakuden Legend of the Dog Warriors, the 2001 version. Um, Pretty good anime. Then starting in 2002, she's cast as Dragonfly in Mucha Lucha, and probably I'd say these are probably her most famous roles of all the roles she's done. In 2002, this is when she was cast as Kagura and Kana in Inuyasha. Um, you know, that's when they cast her, and she would later reprise the roles that I'll get to in a moment here. Um, she was also in 2002. She was cast as Baby Melissa in Baby Looney Tunes. So those of you who might remember that cartoon from back in the early 2000s, um, that was her. In Troubled Chocolate, she was cast as Mint. And as we get into 2003, she was cast as Miss Mari in Mega Man and T Warrior. Um, and she was also cast in Zoid's Fusers as Saber and Venus. Then starting in 2004, now, as I recall, 2004 was also. I'm going to check something here real quick. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. A bit later. And so, as I said, in 2004, she was cast as Keith Violet in the Project Arms series. Um, Another somewhat sultry character, sultry, seductive character. Project Arms is, kind of a mecha slash horror one that you guys might want to check out. It's about kids being artificially fused with weaponry. Eventually comes forth. Then later in 2004 in Mega Man NT Warrior Access, she not only reprised her role as Miss Mari, but also was cast as Miss Yuri and Manuela. And then also in 2005 in Mixmaster King of Cards, let's see, she was cast as Ayaya Penguinace and Brew. And also in 2005, that's when she was also cast in. She also took part in Crypto the Superdog in 2005, 2006, as Rosie. So that was one of her other roles at that time as well. Um, Also in 2005, she was cast as Medelia and Stephanie in Clash of the Titans, and again in the Ocean Studios dub of the first season of the Shakugan no Shana series, another in 2006. This actually came out in 2006, in which she was cast as Marjorie Drew, another somewhat sultry, seductive character. So she's got a knack for playing these sultry, seductive characters, voicing them at least. So that's kind of cool. Um, and also, she was cast as Kitty in Tom and Jerry Tales. Then, as we get into 2007, she was she was cast in the Ocean dub of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, The Laughing Man. That was, I think, a movie. As Sano. In 2008, she was involved. One of the roles she was involved. Well, she was involved in the Batman Black and White series, in which she voiced a number of characters, including Harley Quinn, Martha Wayne, Batgirl, I believe. Um, there were just a number of characters. She was, or not Batgirl, Catwoman. I'm sorry, she was Catwoman, not Batgirl. Harley Quinn, Martha Wayne, Madam X. And in 2010, she was cast in Strawberry Shortcake's Berry Bitty Adventures as Orange Blossom. Um, she was also and this is where she picked up her roles in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, in which she played Rainy Day and Mrs. Trotsworth, I guess, were the two most notable characters in there that she did. Then in 2012, she was Kuromitsu in Kurozuka, and she was also reprised her roles as Kagura and Kana in Inuyasha: The Final Act. So, and among some of the other anime she was involved with as well, that you can hear her voice in, include Adieu, Galaxy Express 999, Broken Spirits, um, Fatal Fury, the motion picture. She was a social worker in Chico in Dragon Ball Z, the Ocean dub version. She was Tai Shimura in Gintama, in the Gintama dub. Hamtaro, Highlander Search for Vengeance, Human Crossing, um, Mermaid Scar, um, Ogre Slayer, um, let's see, Story of Sankoku, which if you guys like romantic stories and you guys like slice of life romantic stories with some good meat to them, I would recommend the Story of Sankoku because the premise of the story is about a young girl in China during feudal China times who wanted to become an official with the Chinese government, which back then that was not necessarily allowed or looked at as being an option for women to go into. She eventually makes and becomes love interest of the prince as well, the Prince King character. So So yeah, so if you guys might want to check that one out as well. The Vision of she was awesome. Had a guest spot on the Vision of Escafone. Among her like animated series or cartoon, aside from some of the ones I've already mentioned include the Adventures of T-Rex, Alien Racers, animated classic showcase, Barbie in the Palace and the Pauper, um, Billy the Cat, Bratz Fashion Pictures, um, Chinese Ghost Story, the Sui Hark animation, um, Doggy Daycare, um, Fat Dog Mendoza, For Better or For Worse, Gadget and the Gadgetinis, Galaxy Express 999, G.I. Joe Extreme, Hulk versus. She was Lady Deathstrike and Hela. Um, she was also in Hurricanes, which I remember Hurricanes from the early '90s. It was a pretty good cartoon. It was basically followed the adventures of a international soccer team. Played Miss Espinola in it. If you're into soccer, I recommend it. Basically, about it from as I recall, about a young girl who inherited an international soccer team. She also the kids from Room 402, Keishan Core, Alien Defender Geo Armor, um, Lapitch, the Little Shoemaker, Littlest Pet Shop, which she was voiced Phoebe, A Monkey's Tale, Monster Mash, Ogre Slayer, which she was Akane, Isoko, and Ryoko, um, Robin in the Dreamverse, Robocop, Alpha Commando, Roswell Conspiracies, Aliens, Myths, and Legends, Sabrina the Animated Series is Layla Lee and Bosley. Um, yeah, Shadow Raiders War Planets is she's okay. Spider-Man Unlimited, she was a lizard woman. Um, Street, she was involved in one of the Street Fighter shows as Celia Miley and Sachi. Um, Super Noobs, Tale of Two Kittens, Tayo the Little Bus, um, Trolls, Twisteria, The Wonderful World of Tex Avery as Raquel and Tour Guide, um, and The Power of Animals. She's also been in a few. She's also been in a few video games, including Cartoon Network Universe Fusion Fall as Lee Kanker, Devil King's Puff, Jawbreakers. She's of course in a couple of the Ed and Eddie games. She's in some Inuyasha games. So yeah, you guys should really check out her work. And I know now that this is getting a little long, so I'll try to finish up real quick. If you check the links below, my Twitter handle will be down there. Um, my Twitter handle will be down there. Want to contact me directly, you can DM me. You can also comment on my videos and on the tweets I send out or repost. Um, Also, I'm supporting a bunch of different dub companies. You might want to check out their work. Um, one more thing to get at one of the other things I want to mention as I do these voice act VA profiles. Always remember, guys, check out other voice actors' works. You know, I hope that my videos provide you some information on some cool and talented voice actors that you can check out. Check out their work, because ultimately, if you want to see some of these voice actors at cons, what you have to do, is you have to like contact the cons, let them know that you want them there. Politely and respectfully ask them to invite, because basically the VA guests have to be invited. That's ultimately what has to happen. So I'd hope that you guys would check out Janyse's work, and if you like her work and you want to meet her and talk to her more about her work, you should contact your local cons and politely and respectfully ask them to have her come to their convention, invite her to their convention, and get your friends to do that too. So going back to the whole thing with the links and stuff, I'm also promoting the GoFundMe's. Um, as always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. It's in your means to, and you and it's on your heart to do so. Please consider donating. If you've already donated before, please consider donating again. Um, And if you can't donate, you can still help out by sharing the link. Maybe there's somebody in your circle of friends that may may want to help. Um, Also, if you guys like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and hit the notification bell because YouTube is getting funny. Yellow Flash has been warning us a lot lately about YouTube trying to force people to subscribe to the bigger channels. But we appreciate the smaller channels and and I'm sure Flash and Tug and all of them also appreciate your patronage. So so with that, as I said, please like, share, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And hopefully, I'll see you guys at the premiere of this video Friday, and before that, tomorrow being Monday. And with that, from the time that this is filmed, of course, recorded. With that, I will see you guys later. Bye.